the July 26th, 2018 Sustainability Board meeting.
YouTube?
We're on YouTube.
Always.
There's some space up here.
Yeah, this is Nick's. Here. Get the right seat. That's the most important thing you have to do through the night. Yeah. Once you're there.
Sit next to your name. Hey, Mark, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Go ahead.
All right, this is the July 26th Sustainability Board meeting for the City of Satellite Beach. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, did everybody see the solar on top of the, on the building out here, or starting to get up there? It's a good sign. Like to see
I had
stuff.
a new picture today in a video.
Oh, okay.
They finished the whole thing.
Oh, cool.
I'll throw that microphone.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, don't jump ahead. All right, so we are going to start with public comment. Do we have any public comment? All right. So our next item is, we're going to have a presentation from Brian Bobbitt and on the Litter Quitter program from Keep Brevard Beautiful.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brian. I'm Deputy Director of Keep Brevard Beautiful. First off, we wanted to say thank you this evening for seeing us and hearing about one of our, well, it's been a program that's been around for about 2 years, but we've partnered up with the zoo and we've revamped it. So we're really excited to share it with you, and with all the initiatives that your city's taken, we're excited to kind of put it into your hands. So I'd like to introduce Kaylin Palmer. She is our programs coordinator with Keep Brevard Beautiful, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about it.
Hi, my name is Kaylin Palmer, so I'm the program coordinator for the Litter Quitter program. I have to go grab the mouse really quickly. All right. The Litter Quitter program is basically approaching businesses and asking them to switch to more sustainable products or reduce either plastics or styrofoams, which this is a very, very big topic right now, and KVB and Brevard Zoo are doing something about it. So Litter Quitter has some goals. Those short-term goals are, if it'll click, technical difficulties. All right, so the short-term goals are to eliminate or reduce single-use plastics and encourage reusable items. Now, the long-term goals are for sustainable food sourcing and countywide composting. So those are our long-term goals for Brevard County. So Litter Quitter was established about 2 years ago. So this program has been up and running. It was a little outdated, and when we partnered up with Brevard Zoo, we decided, let's change it up, let's make it basic for programs to enter, and then have progressing levels. That way they never stay the same. They're always trying to reach a goal of either a zero waste business or something that they have for their business. Because each business is different, and so we want to give them options as to what they want to do. So, why does Litter Quitter matter? We all know that litter is very prevalent here in Brevard County on our beaches. We find plastic all over the place. We have microplastics, and we're wanting to reduce the amount of plastic in Brevard County. And it causes the deaths of hundreds of thousands of marine life every year, which is very tragic. So 400 million straws are used every single day in the country. So that is a lot of straws. I know you guys have gone to restaurants and you're automatically handed straws. So our first thing in Litter Quitter, as soon as you enter, is an ask for a straw policy. So you do not receive a straw unless you ask for one specifically. And that's to reduce the amount of straws that are being given out. And styrofoam takes 500 years to fully decompose in landfills. And styrofoam is the cheapest thing out there, but we're trying to change the way people think about it. So they look over the price of it and think more of the environmentally friendly way. All right. So yeah, it is a well-known issue. So member benefits, they get a Litter Critter window sticker, which shows that they're doing the right thing for their environment. We give them promotion of their business on the Brevard Zoo's website, our website. They get group pricing discounts on sustainable products. So we have vendors, Edward Don and Company, Eco Products, and Aardvark, and we're working with them to give them a Litter Critter discount. We already have that set up. We have a list of items that they get a discount on, and we've already set a percentage for that discount. So the Litter Critter businesses do receive a discount on all sustainable products from those vendors. They get networking and education. No, you're fine. You're fine. Okay, so Litter Quitter is run by, we have the staff, so we kind of do the background work, and then we also have our vendors. Now, the vendors are what really give the business ideas of what they can change in their business, because like I said, every business is different. And then we also have the businesses which participate in our program and do the right thing for the environment. And lastly, our volunteers. Now, this is the most important part of this program for us. So volunteers are the forefront. They are the ones that actually go out and recruit these businesses. And then we also have them visit the Litter Quitter businesses, frequently to make sure that they're still on track, and then to also help them move up a level in our program. So the program partners are Brevard Zoo and KBB, and we have our mission statements up there. And then next are the vendors. So Aardvark, we're actually working where their paper straw, if the businesses buy their paper straws, a percentage goes back to the Brevard Zoo's Turtle Healing Center, and then a percentage also goes back to our program here to help us keep it running. And Eco Products gives sustainable options for cups, bowls, plates, utensils, things like that. And they also have a Litter Critter discount, and so does Edward Don and Company. So those are all our vendors so far. So these are all the businesses that currently participate in the program. We recently got all of the long doggers on board in Brevard County, so all long doggers in Brevard County are in our program. We got Hemingway's Tavern, and we also got Meg O'Malley's. So we're getting many, many more people. We just got Kennedy Space Center as well. And just a whole bunch of other businesses that are trying to do the right thing. So, who are the volunteers? Maybe you. I mean, anyone can be a volunteer in our program. We actually have a training coming up on August 10th, and it's going to be at noon at the Brevard Zoo at their Naimi Lodge. I'm not sure how to say that. I tried. But no, so we're hosting that, and that's going to give the volunteers everything they need to know when they are going out to visit the businesses. We give them tips on how to get to the owners, what to say to the owners. They're kind of the hook, and then, well, the bait, and then we're the hook. So they go out, they, introduce the program to the business owners, and then we, the staff, go out and finalize that and let them know this is what you need to do to be a Litter Quitter, this is where you are now. And we really show them that, and we work with them to get started in the program and then move up levels. So I just explained what the volunteers did. Getting ahead of myself. So the bronze level. The bronze level is the first level of Litter Quitter. So the business is only required to meet one of these to be in our program. The first one is an ask for a straw policy. And then the second is to switch to a sustainable straw option. So we want to give them options. Not every business is going to want to switch to a paper straw. So that's why we let them only choose one. Because, like I said, some people just want to do an ask for a straw policy and stick with that. So we give them a lot of options. And then encourage customers to bring their own reusable straws, because now those are a thing too. So that's part of the bronze as well. And then for silver, they have to meet one bronze and then one silver. So the silver is switch plastic bags to paper bags. Encourage customers to bring their own reusable bags, and then also switch utensils to a sustainable option or reusable. And then gold, the best of the best, you have to complete one bronze, one silver, and one gold. So gold is switch styrofoam cups to a sustainable option, switch to-go containers to a sustainable option, and then encourage customers to bring their own reusable to-go containers. And lastly, having deck netting for waterfront businesses to catch litter that's falling off their decks. So the materials restaurants will be given, they'll be given a few items. So we actually have promotional items to give them. We have coasters, we have table tents, announcing, hey, we switched our straw policy. Because the biggest thing we're facing is when our businesses switch to an ask for a straw policy, and the customers don't know about it, and they don't get a straw, they think it's bad customer service. So we really want to give them those table tents so that everyone knows, we're not giving you a bad customer service, we're doing the right thing. And then they'll also be given a window sticker. We have posters in case they don't want a table card. And then we also give them coasters. And on the coasters, it also says, switch your straw, save a sea turtle. Yep, so that's it. And then it goes into detail, but yeah. So the litter critter, like I said, we have the training coming up, and after that, we're going to have our official rollout, which would be August 17th. Date, time and location pending. But we're going to be releasing that and letting the whole world know that, hey, Litter Quitter has changed and it's bigger and better than ever. So, thank you.
Thank you.
We'd like to just kind of follow up with saying, first off, again, thank you for seeing us today. And what we're asking for is for this committee to kind of adopt Litter Quitter, take it to the city, gain support, and even kind of join us, become some of our recruiters of the businesses. You know your community better than we do, so you know who you could talk to, and we encourage you to come join us, at least for the training, and get a little bit more informed on it, and hopefully get involved with us. So, thank you.
All right, do we have any public comment?
I've got a question. When you say recyclable, what about compostable? You talked about like different materials that they're using to replace styrofoam.
Compostable at the moment, because we don't have an actual compost facility here in the county, it's just not really feasible. To do composting right, there's a science to it. You have to do it the right way.
Industrial composting.
Exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
and so that's where I was going, that's not in place yet.
Yeah, but once it does become available in the county, absolutely. That would be the platinum level to go up to that point and become a composting.
Are you guys working on waste management and company?
We've mentioned it. It's just kind of out of our hands at this point. I know that the Brevard Zoo has been working with the owner of Captain Hiram's down south. There's some property down in Fellsmere. The zoo is the first nonprofit, or actually any organization in the county that I'm aware of, to host the first waste-free event. Everything was composted. And they had to bring a company from down south by Okeechobee to come up here and to facilitate that. So I know we've been talking to the people down south. We've been talking to the zoo about the property. It's still a long way away, but it needs community support.
And now the thing is, we had, when we had a summit, whatever his name is from Orlando, spoke. And, yeah, Castro. And as I recall, Orlando has a industrial composting program going.
Mm-hmm.
And my question would be whether anybody has talked about trying to somehow or other
We have
partner with
not.
those folks.
We are open to talking to anyone that would bring that to our community or work with us on it. We have not personally spoken to Orlando. We've been dealing with mostly the ones down in Okeechobee, because that's the ones that the zoo had their foot in the door with. But we are open to working with anyone to make it happen.
Okay, because they made comments, apparently they're partnering with the port and NASA and stuff, and so they're already kind of pointed in this direction.
Mhm.
The question is whether Waste Management's going to be willing to, play the game.
Right. And, I mean, they're their own entity. They're a great sponsor, Keep Brevard Beautiful, and partner with other events. But as far as what direction they go, that's their call. So, but perhaps we can get together afterwards and talk about the Orlando composting facility, if you have any contacts or anything.
I don't really, probably Nick's your best.
Well, we can get together on it.
An action passed is an action completed.
Yes. So.
I'm wondering, I love the whole concept of it, so, and I guess I'm thinking as a mother and as a Satellite Beach resident, we've got these really great beachside recreational facilities like, Pelican Beach, things like that, where we have weddings and kids' birthday parties and things like that. And I know I personally, as well as I've heard other parents trying to throw parties and finding, better alternatives for the cups. Not probably not straws as much for a party, but cups and other types of containers that just aren't easily recyclable. And I wonder if there would be a way to, have that same kind of co-op availability to people in the area that are having, beach weddings or birthday parties or any kind of outdoor event like that
If
without
they're-
being a restaurant.
If they're using a vendor such as a wedding planner or something like that, I'm sure that we could do an introduction, especially if we could get that wedding planner to be a litter quitter business. And then that's their foot in the door to work with our companies. To have as open to individuals, we'd have to speak with our partners and see if that's something that they would be willing to do. We're definitely open to working with that and at least finding out. But if you can get like the local beach wedding planners, I mean, we could qualify them as litter quitter and they're in, so.
Yeah, perhaps the way to get to the individual consumers would be to go through the retailers, right? I mean,
Possibly, yeah.
if there's, I don't know, if there's some way, because I have the same, issue that Jazzy's described, and I think there's such a growth of knowledge, I feel like, that's percolating out on this
Yeah.
issue right now.
It's the hot topic right
Yeah.
now.
Right.
But particularly people with, who are, parents who are having parties and stuff like that, if there was a way to increase availability of not just, we've put a green leaf on it, but things that were truly sustainable
Yeah.
items, and there was a way to also check with KBB or some, reputable other party to determine what the right choices are or the optimal choices are. I think that would be a good growth opportunity.
Absolutely. Now, the issue that we have with our partners is they're used to dealing with like large-scale restaurants, chain restaurants, so they're used to bulk orders.
Right.
If you want to get some individuals that want to do like a birthday party or something, I don't know if they would go down to orders that small, but it's a possibility maybe for the committee or for KBB with funding or something like that to purchase those items and have them available
Well,
for
my
smaller
thought
sales.
was, the parks, the reservations are made through our rec department.
Mhm.
So if the rec department became kind of a litter quitter partner and made the products available, in other words, okay, you're having a wedding at our clubhouse,
Mhm.
Here's where you can get, and here's the cost for the material.
Now, you're talking about through Park and Rec with the county or through your city?
Through
Yeah,
the
through the
city.
city. I mean, we could definitely,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that then the city becomes the vendor, as it were, as far as receiving the material to pass it on.
But I'm thinking like a section of Publix or something like that, that's,
Yeah.
like that, where, you could, if you could get them, and I know but that could be a possible alternate, because the way to get to, like I said, consumers would be to get retailers on board. If you had a similar program where retailers could say that they're
To get access
litter
to
quitters
it.
by, giving however much floor space or shelf space available, and, they can get the seal of approval there.
Well, Publix already has green laws,
yeah.
and so they might be open if somebody approached them and said, yeah, what about making a section that's the litter quitter section or something like that?
Some of the issues with that is dealing with a corporate level. And that's something that, I mean, I love the ideas of it, but to get to the higher level with Publix, because typically one Publix does it, all Publixes do it. And this is only a county
To remind you
county
guys,
program.
Publix didn't even allow us to have our reusable bags present in their store.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're very strict with what they do and don't want to do.
I'm new and idealistic.
Yeah.
I think John's idea is right on point, though, because then we could have it in the beach caster, we could have, the signs up at the rec center when we make our quarterly, rec center booklets of everything, we could advertise it in there, and, there's plenty, I think, the website, the Facebook, all of that could all be ways to help raise awareness, and, I think that residents would definitely be interested in
Well, I
it.
think with all the initiatives that Satellite Beach has been taking over the past year and a half, you would definitely qualify as a litter quitter, almost like city. I mean, just because all the,
Pretty sure
well,
we
yeah,
actually,
exactly.
we already are.
Yeah, I see the tag there. So, I mean, you have access.
You're actually on the logo thing as well, I believe, like a year ago? We actually had this presentation like way back.
Back when it first
And
started
we
out.
actually did adopt to become litter quitter.
Yeah. So there you go, you're ahead of the game there.
Yeah.
So you have access to to getting the cheaper materials if you like.
Yeah, I'll talk to Courtney about it for sure.
On the plan.
And I just want to mention one quick thing. I went to Shuck Shack. I don't know if anyone's been there yet.
Yes,
Oh,
I
it's
just
okay.
got back from there.
Paper straws,
I just got it.
non-styrofoam, no styrofoam, even cups or their to-go containers. I was super impressed. They already qualified for gold, I think.
They did that on their own, or did somebody approach
I
them?
don't know. I need to talk to them because I was.
Do they
really
have any
impressed.
signage or anything around?
I didn't see it. We need to talk to them.
That's awesome.
That is
Got
awesome.
back from there.
Yeah, they're taking
Right off the
initiative.
bat.
I'm going there after this meeting.
I have a question for you all, for the litter quitter for businesses. What's the cost of it? I know that with the residential, it's just it's a donation.
What, to become a litter quitter?
Yeah, how do you do that with a business?
We don't charge.
So you don't charge
No.
donation only?
Well, I mean, if they want to give us a donation, that's great. We don't even solicit for one. The idea is to, have them give back to the community. We're not trying to make money off of it.
Okay.
I mean, if someone wanted to give us a donation, that'd be outstanding, but we don't even talk about money with this program. If like was it the Shuck Shack? We'd go in there and congratulate them on their efforts. Here's a sticker. If you want to be involved, great. Thank you very much. Money wouldn't even be a conversation. So,
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, great, sounds great.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is there anybody in the public that has a comment? Come on up if you would. Yeah, that's all right. We're friendly people up here.
I have a question for Litter Quitter.
Yeah, well, state your name if you
Oh,
would.
I'm Michelle Lero. I live on Trinidad.
Okay.
I love it here. I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing, Nick. So that's why I'm here. Anyway, I have a question for you. The biggest thing for a company is cost. So plastic bags are cheap, paper are not. So your vendors, do your vendors have some discounts or? Because if we want our retail operations to move away from plastic, it has to make financial sense. So
Yeah, so,
what are they doing?
Yeah, so Edward Don Company, Eco Products, and Aardvark are, well, not Aardvark, but Edward Don Company and Eco Products, we created a list of items, and we give those items to businesses and say, these are items that you will get discounts on. So we've already set up that discount with Edward Don Company, Eco Products. So all we do is just give that business that list and say, if you order any of these items, you're getting a discount. Now, it doesn't make it exactly the same price as plastic, but it does lower it, only 1 or 2 cents, more expensive. So it does make it cheaper, but, plastic's really cheap and styrofoam's even cheaper. So it's really hard to beat those prices. So, we always just tell them, if you're wanting to do the right thing, it's going to cost a little extra cents. And they understand that. And what we're really wanting to do with the straws is the reason we're doing the Ask for a Straw policy is not only it reduces the amount of straws, but it also reduces cost for the business. They're handing out way less straws than they usually would.
It's very difficult.
Yes.
Because I'm part of WOW, which I guess is where all of this started, the Brevard Zoo and everything. So we started going into restaurants and saying no straws, and it doesn't get through, like the drink didn't have one, but the water did, it was like, no
A lot
straw.
of that really needs to focus on the staff training from the restaurants.
Right.
It's one thing to have an owner of the restaurant say, yeah, we'll do it, but if he doesn't pass it down, actually train the staff how to do it. And that's why we're talking to the women in the wild and have y'all go in to our current litter quitters and let us know. Because if they have the brand, we expect them to
Okay,
do the
but it's
brand.
industrial
To
compostable.
actually go in and follow up with these
Yeah,
businesses
yeah.
and kind of.
But again, see, that's the problem with
Where you're going to
compostable.
sit down,
It's
you're going to
industrial
eat, and you're going to see that they still
It
are
won't
doing
work in
the
your
things they
garden,
say they're doing.
supposedly.
So we do check up
Hmm?
on the businesses, but yeah, the price thing.
all
is
the ones
always
I've seen
there.
use that
It's really hard to
foam-based
get
plastic.
paper down
Right.
to the price of plastic, just because plastic is way more invasive now. But yeah, our discounts do get it relatively that price.
Yeah, giving them a reason.
Kaylin, you were saying about the August 10th at the zoo for training.
Yes,
Did you have a time?
12 p.m.
So it's noon to what? How long is that?
I think we had estimated an hour.
So it's just
all
12 to 1.
And lunch will be provided as well. Must RSVP.
So do you,
KBB, I have to, I got you.
do you have like a list of all the restaurants in Brevard County, and do you have like a plan to go out, like send volunteers to certain areas, or?
Yes. So for new businesses, people can actually go on our website and nominate a business to be a litter quitter. So if they go to a restaurant and see that they, do an ask for a straw policy, have paper straws, they can go on our website and say, hey, this business should be a litter quitter, and we'll send volunteers out there. And as for our current litter quitter businesses, our follow-up schedule is probably going to be, once or twice a month. We'll send volunteers to a business and make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and to see if they've moved up a level or have new initiatives in place. So we do have that kind of plan, and we're going to be discussing that at the litter quitter training. That way the volunteers know when they're going to be doing things and why. So we're going to give them that plan. But yeah, we do. So we're going to be sending them out frequently to go visit the businesses. And then whenever we get a nomination, we'll send them to that business. And if we just see it personally that, hey, this business is doing a great job, or we think this business could get there, then we're going to send people out.
How many volunteers do you have now?
Right now we don't have any because we haven't done the training.
Okay.
But for the training so far, we have signed up 15 volunteers. So, so far 15 people are going to show up, as I know, but.
Yeah, let us know about future training.
Yeah.
I can't make the August 10th. I'm
Yeah,
on vacation, but
we're going to continuously have trainings because, people will see, hey, this person's volunteering, I want to volunteer too. So we're just going to have frequent trainings
Awesome.
to either retrain our volunteers and then also train new ones. So.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, moving on. So our next topic is to discuss take action on community biking events. And Chris, you want to give us a background on that?
Perfect. Small half page, I can start paper.
I'm really excited about this idea.
So, real quick, we're proposing a bike repair and bicycle rodeo event, real simple. Done by City Satellite Beach. The purpose is to educate on bike safety. In the meeting that we just had on Tuesday at the Schechter Center, one gentleman did mention once again how I wish we could educate bikers on pedestrians and so forth. I think maybe this would be a great opportunity to throw it on Facebook and say, hey, we're doing something. Also helmets. Helmets are the purpose of this, and bicycle repair. I think simple bike repairs would be easy to do. I know I can do some simple bike repairs.
Yep.
But I'm sure we can get a qualified technician to come through. And yeah, well, I've got that as one of our deals. Bob's Bicycle Shop, Walmart actually has a technician there. And Ace Hardware actually has a technician.
Matt's up in Cocoa Beach.
Yeah.
Is Bob's the one up in Indy Atlantic on Fifth?
It's got one on O'Galley.
Indian Harbor.
They got two.
He's got his own truck and everything.
And I would say Bob's is a great place. I've got a great relationship with them.
Yeah, Rob Benier is the guy you need to talk to. He's the owner.
So the location, well, the time of the event would be September 27th. That's right in conjunction with Nick's garden activity. Cool. From 6 to 8. I want to be there forever.
That'll be dark at that time.
Well, that might be an okay.
That's why you need a light and you need education.
6 to 8.
Well, I mean, it's getting dark at 8:30.
It'll get dark.
It'll be getting there.
Yeah.
It won't be, yeah.
Well, if there's any opposition to the time, I'm happy to move it to 5.
No,
I think
no,
that's a great time.
That's a good time, I guess. That's a Saturday?
No, that's a Thursday.
Oh, okay.
That is a Thursday, which is kind of an off day, but I mean, honestly,
So there, yeah,
why not just do it and, you know?
feel good about it.
Why don't we do it on a weekend instead?
Well, I think working in conjunction with this idea, working in conjunction with his event.
What is your event?
Also
Well,
advertise.
this is the kind of finale of the community garden season, and then the kickoff of the next season. So, I mean, if we did it on the event, that'd be okay, but if we did it after the event, to promote it at the garden event, which would be a nice promotional kick too,
Okay,
if that would work.
right.
I wouldn't mind doing 2 community garden events.
In the same week, or?
Oh, yeah, well, because the idea behind, well, I'll go over my staff report more, but, you know, the community garden event has its own kind of agenda.
So maybe, well, I guess we'll discuss that again. So I got a summary of the events. We got the bike rodeo, where basically we'll set up, you know, emulated city streets with stop signs and crosswalks and so forth. There will be a police officer on duty to make sure that the kids are doing the course correctly. The helmet giveaway, City of Melbourne or Melbourne Police Department has, they just want to know a date, and they'd be willing to bring helmets and also probably chat about bicycle safety as well. In saying that, I really don't know who to talk to in Satellite Beach Police Department.
I think they're up for it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if Nick could do that, I was hoping to kind of assign.
Probably Burns or somebody.
Yeah.
We'll see who wants to volunteer.
And then the simple bike repair, again, we'll get a local bike technician, and I'm sure if it's just a community thing, and there's a couple fathers and mothers that are pretty handy, we can just knock out some flat tires and grease
Yeah,
chains and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool to maybe get Bob's or whoever we come to bring tubes and, you know, common things that pedals, tubes, and chains and.
26-inch tubes or, you know, 16-inch, whatever's very common.
Mhm.
Just put them in there and get it going. So funding source, of course, be City of Satellite Beach if at all possible, and if there's any vendor donations. So I've got some preparation stuff or schedule down here. I'd like to meet these mile marks if we're all agreeable to this event. As you can see, August 2nd, survey the area. I believe August 2nd is Thursday. Which is
And then the location again is exactly at the tennis courts?
Yeah.
So you're right in that little parking area then, because it's going to change because we got all that construction going on.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So DeSoto Road is our biggest road that we,
Well, you have another, there's already, unless it's been demolished, and I don't think it has, there's already a tricycle trail, training trail, I think we called it in the grant, down at the sports park, down near the restrooms that are in the center at the south end of the, it's a little figure eight. It's got a trellis that at least was working, that it was our wash rack. You could pull the thing and get a little water, but it used to have little stop signs and stuff, but they all got vandalized. But the course, I think, is still there. So if somebody's got a portable, you know, a sign they can put up, or a little light they can put up, or a crosswalk or something, you've got a course right there. You've got a big parking lot. So, but it's kind of isolated. So if it's that would have to be really a standalone event as opposed to.
Start at one end and bike to the other.
I kind of like being in the garden, to be honest.
Start at the garden and then bike over to the area.
We could build a mountain bike trail before that.
Yeah.
Circle back around all this.
just do loops around the garden.
Well, just temporary while they're doing the construction.
By August 19th, I'd expect to secure commitments from the police department, and Nick is
I'll
saying.
be happy to work with you on this. I love it.
So it's primarily going to be geared towards little kids then, right? If you're talking about.
Necessarily. I mean, all the way through high school, whoever shows up. I mean, I'd imagine maybe we get 20 kids to come through.
So is a bike rodeo, like, just teaching them to stop at stop signs, or is it more to, like, riding skills, or?
Stop signs, the right side of the road to bike on.
You just made a comment that triggered, I believe decades ago, police department used to do something at the start of the school year. And maybe that's the thing, if you can get the school's cooperation, the police department, the weekend before, maybe during or after school, and you do it like at Surfside. And in fact, you may, if it worked, do it at each of the, you're not going to get somebody, even though a lot of students ride to Delora, somehow or other I have a feeling at that age group, they're not going to participate in a bicycle rodeo, and certainly not in high school, unless it's an automobile rodeo. But I think the two elementary schools, and I think you'd hit a resonant chord with the police department, because I believe that was done years ago.
Yeah, I'm all about it, just.
So one of the
Because
things-
then you've got to capture, there are hundreds of bikes there. Kids ride them. And so I think the police department would be all over it trying to do that.
Yeah, I don't think there's at least back when my kids stopped going from elementary school to Delora, they didn't want to ride their bike anymore because it wasn't cool anymore to ride your bike.
Still ride my bike now.
I'm 51, I still ride my bike.
Yeah, but you're not
I agree with you. I completely agree with you, and that's upsetting to me because.
Yeah, I want to make it cool.
Greatest place I'm riding my bike.
Country, yeah.
And I can't believe people do drop their bicycles and stop using it. I rode my bike to school even though it was only 5 blocks away from the sidewalk. I rode my bike. I love bikes. So I think even though there isn't, that much desire, I know that there are bikes in garages that are flat tires that people probably don't know to fix them.
I got one.
We could probably just get people to ride at least once or twice.
Yeah,
in their
right.
lives,
I like the idea of having the repair. That's very cool because that's one big step is to get the bikes working again. But then the next thing is to get them out riding and especially, or keep them riding from, when they go to, for kids.
I guess that would depend on how cool the event was.
Yeah, but adults
I think he's
too.
getting
there's a lot
towards
of,
this trail.
there's a lot of adults that I think would be interested in like either a night ride or kind of like a running for brews type thing, and maybe end up at a
Biking for buds or something.
Yeah, I was hoping to talk about that too. I can't think of a night per month that would be good. Maybe we can discuss a night per month and where that would be good. 'Cause
Well,
I'd like to do that once a month.
the Teen Zone every month, I forget what night, sponsors with the rec department
Food truck.
the food truck night. There you've already got a gathering.
yeah.
So, if you start combining events,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, was doing it.
That is good idea, John. I like that.
That is a really good idea.
Turn over your piece of paper, there's a brainstorm. If you have
Nice.
any ideas and you want to pass it back to me, when I get with Nick
It'll be next week and we'll
next
go.
week.
Does anyone have plans on actually approaching Bob's? Does anyone know them really well? I mean, I've got a pretty good relationship with
I
them.
know Rod Manier.
You know him
I've
really
worked
well?
with him.
I mean,
I know him extremely well.
Okay. Would you like to be the one that, I mean, I could talk to them if you'd like.
Yeah, I used
My
to-
brainstorm was to sell your car right now,
What do they call
just
it?
like I did, and just ride your bike, walk around. Actually, I can get to my house. I live 2 miles down the street. I could bike here faster than I can get.
I could use a hand changing my tubes right now, to be honest with you. I mean,
There you go, see?
So the food truck thing is just once a week, or once a month, right?
yeah.
Was it the first Friday?
Friday, yeah.
First Friday?
First Friday?
I don't know. I don't like that.
Just from like observing the kids going to Surfside every morning, and we're kind of trying to I mean, when I'm driving in, it seems like you have as many who are skating as riding bikes,
Yeah,
So,
We did mention that, yeah.
just, because I live right there, so I'm trying to be very hyper vigilant, and they are harder to see sometimes on skateboards, and it seems like there's a lot of them. I don't know is there someone we know who runs a skate shop who would be analogous to Bob's, who could do that? I mean, helmets would be,
I can talk to
Yeah,
Ryan.
because you've got skateboards, I don't know whether any kids are using these electric doohickeys now or not, but it's anybody.
Whatever razor scooter
Those as
things,
well.
those are as well, yeah.
Yeah, in other words, it's not just a bike rodeo, it's a,
Rolling rodeo.
How you get around rodeo.
yeah.
Yeah, the wheels.
Yeah, so that might add complexity to but I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
That's good, it'll get more people out.
Yeah.
So,
it might make it a little cooler seeming to some kids
The
too.
name bicycle rodeo was for just to get
people going around, I guess. rodeo.
around, just think about it. Just
So,
full circle.
real quick, can we go over everything for the rodeo and then just decide on kind of a date for the monthly thing in conjunction with the, okay. So as far as the survey with Nick, I'm gonna do that with him on the 2nd. Nick is handling the police department, securing a technician.
I'm doing that. Rod Manier.
And we'll reconvene. I don't know if our next date is the 26th. I don't know what our next date is going to be,
Our next meeting,
our next meeting, but
22nd.
well, the 22nd we'll update.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have everything in line so we don't have to stress it for the following month. And then
The other thought is a Saturday,
Saturday versus,
I don't know, pros and cons on weekend versus weekday, but I don't know.
I think it's better if we did it on a weekend as well. I think
Yeah.
we have better chance of actually getting people to put this on their calendar.
I
so you
agree.
think Saturday,
I
Saturday?
think you guys seem to be starting like a whole new event, which I like to piggyback on John's idea, which I think makes sense, is just to have, just go with like the food truck idea, where you have like a separate section where you just do that, and you just kind of open the idea up or something like that.
Well, when I mentioned the food truck, what I was thinking of was a thing about all age groups, getting people involved with actually riding a bike or a skateboard or whatever, doing something other than riding in a car. I hadn't really been thinking about the rodeo and the thing of having a layout and stuff. I don't know that you'd want to do that every month,
No.
but
You're talking about
sounds
the
to
ride.
me almost like we're brainstorming a whole bunch of different ideas.
Too, right?
You might just say, let's just focus on the one event, but then let's talk about the long term, about doing, the
ride.
Right.
the food truck thing, or doing the thing with the
Founders Day, you
schools.
have,
Yeah.
the other day that we're talking about is the garden, which is sustainable, and you should drive to the garden.
Now, there's a day that you could do something with the Founders Day.
And we did.
Founders Day, you've got
Founders Day would be really good.
thousands of people.
Yeah, I mean,
A rodeo.
so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, just put it in there.
Tighten up.
So when you advertise for these things, you should say, if you ride your bike, then you will be eligible for giveaways, helmets. So
We did that at the community
Yep,
event.
we
The
did.
garden- it
The
was
garden
really
opening,
good.
yeah,
A
the
lot of
garden
people
opening.
came
Garden
on bikes.
event, Founders Day.
I think they should honestly consider like creating a whole campaign on like.
Bike,
biking
yeah,
and
yeah.
But we'll start with yours and then piggyback on.
If we like the skate and scooter concept, we need to think of like a term, so it's not like
Right.
yada, 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 whatever it is, that's basically not using a car, like sustainable transportation or something, which sounds dorky, but something like that. People power is so much cooler than sustainable transportation.
People power.
Yeah,
Power to the people,
That's,
yes.
that maybe, that could go national, I think.
yeah, I think the bike ride, if we do try to
That would be really
do
neat.
that, you need to
Yeah.
do it late evening or even nighttime, because there's less traffic, it's cooler out, and you're gonna get more people
So
were
I thought,
available.
I
at that
thought
time.
when you brought up the food truck event, you were talking about the bike ride.
That's
So
what I'm saying, and you could do all kinds of
I'm-
stuff. You could have, the treasure hunt type thing, you just do all kinds of stuff.
Biking is huge. You go down South Tropical Trail on Sunday. Have you ever been on that thing? Seriously, it's awesome.
Yeah, but to stay.
Yeah, but you gotta,
Just that, I want
that's
to
a
get
little,
past.
yeah, exactly.
Got 10 minutes.
I'm right with you.
You need to-
I did want to do two things, have a rodeo, and then we were talking about the monthly bicycle ride. And I think doing the monthly bicycle ride with the food truck is an outstanding idea.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool to do, because we can start at the food truck, go around maybe a mile or two, come back, have drinks, and that's
Yep.
it.
Yep.
But I would like to do a standalone bicycle safety event if we're going to include different vendors from around town, the police department and also the coach.
And I think the idea of doing the schools is the best idea for that. If we can get it done that way, I think we should do it that way. Yeah, so I think that's where we are right now, is we find out with the police station and the schools if they want to host it like that, or if we're going to just do one event.
Yeah, we may be pushing the schedule for the schools. They don't turn on a dime, so that one may die real quick, but you can investigate anyway.
Maybe for this.
So do you need help with
Spring
the,
fling.
do you need help with the organizing some of the other ideas that we talked about? Like the monthly, weekly bike ride
The
thing?
monthly bike ride, I think you just need to figure out when the food truck deal is.
I'm
trying to do
And
it.
start thinking about how we'd advertise that.
On the group bike thing, they have groups that do that in Atlanta, and I mean, that's notoriously bad traffic, but if you get a, critical mass of bikes to get together, I mean, and with the Schechter Center, I mean, you don't want to mess probably with South Patrick or A1A, but you can get from the Schechter Center going down the main, all the way basically to O'Galley is the next hard thing you're going to hit. So you can go all the way past the library, Indian Harbor, down to Gleason Park, like, it'd be you could get a cool little route going.
Does it come back around?
Yeah, something like that, I think that you get a huge turnout for that.
Right, and I think
Yeah.
that would advertise itself kind of as you got going, maybe start out with 6 guys, next thing you know, there's an 8th and 9th.
that's
you
how
know.
it
I think
is.
this will be, and it'll allow a lot of time for people to discuss issues, in the satellite beach. I think
Unlike
it's
the
great.
run clubs, there'd be the serious people and then the chill people.
Right, right. Awesome, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta
Keep it rolling.
we
I
gotta
think
keep
it'd be
moving.
great.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll
So-
get with Nick.
If you need my
Yeah, I got
help,
it. I got your-
I'd be glad to help out with organizing the weekly or monthly rides and night rides.
And for what it's worth, Bert Barrios with the police department is also the chairman of the teen zone that sponsors the food trucks. So he's the person to talk to about that time.
Okay, so any public comment on this?
Linda Palmisano, I live on Amherst Circle. So John Fergus, his memory is correct. I grew up here and went to Surfside. And at the beginning of the school year, I'm not sure they did it every year, but we had bike safety, and I still remember it. I mean, the police officer came, they taught us the hand signals, left turn, right turn, stop. And as a child, it really made me a lot more safety conscious. So I think the rodeo and the safety training is a great idea.
Yeah, I did the same thing at Surfside.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Anyone else?
Did they offer anything right now? That's kind of in conjunction with what you're saying? No, I don't know.
This is something that we could offer as a city satellite beach. I don't know, just saw it as an opportunity. If there's something else, then.
No, I think this is great. I was just curious.
Yeah, I love it.
Chris, you just.
I think with just a gentle nudge, I think the police department, they've got all the volunteers and stuff.
Yeah.
They've got manpower to do this, so.
We
Yeah.
gotta keep moving because we got,
right.
we're supposed to, we gotta try to be out here at 7.
Yeah.
Nick, you got your staff update coming
Yeah,
up?
I'll do it real quick. Community garden update, we're gonna have our September community garden season be the end of the season, and then October 1, we'll start fresh for the new season. In accordance with some of the requests of some community garden members, we will allow any member who wants to purchase a garden bed and donate it to the community garden to do so, and they will get to garden in the garden for 3 years, and then the bed will then become part of the garden. This is to increase turnover so that not everybody that's using one of the original 20 stays there. It's, eventually, I think the plan is to go to a raffle, if everybody approves the idea, simply to eliminate the, I don't know, feeling of some that they're not getting a fair turn at getting multiple seasons, because once you get hooked and they want to stay on, which is understandable. And then we'll just generate more money that way. It's a raffle, so you can buy multiple tickets. In addition to that, like the second part of community garden is composting. I've been working with Nick on composting, and where we're at now is we're looking for some funding from some sponsors, possibly Happy Healthy Human, to put a more formal composting facility, facilities to be the word, composting section to the community garden, where we can have the vegetables composted and some vegetables from possibly Happy Healthy Human, and then maybe eventually Publix. That composted material will then be used in the garden, and if we get excess, we can give it away. And then in addition to that, we're going to be planning a work day as part of the DeSoto Bioswale Stormwater Enhancement Project of the NEP grant, and along with the DEP grant for the education portion. We did the planting on DeSoto, that was really good. We're going to do the library pond east, pond 1 of the 3 ponds in that section there, the stormwater ponds. We're only going to vegetate the first 2, the one on the left and the right, as you enter into the library. The eastern pond, we'll do the southern shore first, and then we'll do the western pond and the southern shore. But that's eventually, hopefully the tentative date for the end of August. We're going to wait till school resumes to try to get some more support from students, and we'll let, I'll let you guys know via email that exact date once we get to it. Try to get some volunteers from the KBB and MRC crowd of volunteers to do that next planting day. Other than that, the last update is solar, and solar is currently on the Civic Center side of City Hall, pretty much fully installed, hardware-wise. They're going to be finishing up this roof above our heads tomorrow, probably, need be Monday, and then once they get all that done, it'll probably take them a week or so to finish up all the electrical, and then we'll have one day where we turn off the power, and then turn the power back on, and we'll have solar at City Hall. So keep a watchful eye out for that, and then in a little bit we'll do the workshop number 7 as part of the Sustainable Action Plan workshops, where I'll talk about the opportunity for the Lagoon Landscaping Pilot Program. That's part of the FIT grant that we got a couple years ago to incentivize low-impact development, soft infrastructure for residents, and that's it.
Are you going to make an event out of going solar here?
Yeah, we'll have a video, we'll launch the video. We're not going to do like food trucks or anything, but just putting it on the website and that kind of thing. Do you have a better idea?
I don't know. You might want to push it as hard as you can. I mean, you could talk to George White about putting an article in the Beachsider that's, says at this time on this date, and, a ribbon cutting or a switch pulling or...
Maybe when we get the display out in the lobby with the numbers on it, that could be kind of fun to launch it then, because then people could see the power.
I was going to tell you how much power is being generated instantaneously.
Yeah, we'll be able to see it.
Oh, that's cool.
Which would be really cool. So maybe when that goes live, we can do a ribbon cutting or something like that.
A formal...
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Dedication, as it were.
Yeah, I like
You're
that.
talking, what, $160,000 of taxpayer money?
Yeah, we'll get a food truck for that.
This is anecdotal, but
Plug it in.
I've heard a lot of positive feedback, particularly about over on the beach, about, people even might not live in Satellite, but just positive PR for the city. I think it's a good visual representation of what the city's trying to, achieve.
Agreed.
Nick, I had a question about the solar panels, now that we were talking about it at Pelican Beach. What is that, what is all that, people keep asking me, I was just there today, I had a party there from football teams,
Pelican
that's
Beach
cool.
Solar is separate from the City Hall Solar. The Pelican Beach Solar is part of the FPL program, Solar Now. We we are renting them the land that they have the pedestals on. So they rent the land at $22 a kilowatt. It's produced roughly 25 kilowatts with the panels. The panels spread over 8 different parking spaces, and they provide clean energy to the grid. We can plug in the events, which is going to be nice.
And they provide some nice shade.
And provide great shade.
Yeah, this is a dumb question, but if that works, is there a reason not to expand that?
And we got that for free, like we didn't pay anything for that. So if the program comes back and they want to do it, sure. But other than that, it would probably cost, and we can look into that, but.
If that were the case, I'd prefer not to be having FPL generate and sell the electricity. I'd rather have the panels and we sell them the excess electricity.
Yeah.
This was a demonstration. This is part of their Go Solar business, but their business model is they capture the sun and sell it to you instead of you capture the sun and sell it to them.
They're ahead of the game.
Again, it costs us nothing.
Yeah, no, I think it's, I mean,
Yeah, no.
Is that it, Nick?
That's it, thank you.
Okay. Any public comment? Okay, moving on.
Let me go turn that.
Project updates from board members, and we probably don't have any time for brainstorming, or make it quick.
I say wrap it up.
Anybody, you guys have anything? I don't have anything.
We did a bunch of brainstorming on bicycles, I think.
Hey, well, last
Never
time, the
know.
bicycle thing, we're gonna do that weekend then, so the 29th?
That's what I was gonna
Just because we're going to the community talking about it, so
Yeah.
say tentatively the 29th.
Yeah, that sounds good. I would just make sure,
Make it happen?
We'll make it a event and we'll look at it.
just make sure it doesn't conflict with anything major.
September, we're saying?
August, September 27th.
September
29th.
But now I'll move it to the 29th.
Saturday.
That Saturday is Pride Fest. That Saturday's Pride Fest.
That's where, is that right?
Yeah, in Melbourne.
Oh.
Oh, Galley.
We'll nail down the date in our meeting next week.
I don't think that'll be a
Just
big
do
problem.
consensus on adopting the minutes and adjournment.
I like Thursday, what's wrong with Thursday?
Okay, so, yeah, we need to have consensus on the adoption of the minutes from May 23rd and June 27th, 2018. You want to do them together?
Yeah, just if everyone agrees, we're good.
Okay.
Consent.
All in agreement, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that ends the meeting unless anybody else has anything. And up next, Nick is going to have, you want to tell us what you're doing?
Get some new people.
Stanley Workshop number 7.
The circles are huge.
I'll be just talking about the Lagoon Landscaping Pilot Program. This is a grant available to residents to improve their soft infrastructure at their home to reduce the impacts of stormwater at home.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Meeting adjourned.